What if your awareness suddenly expanded and there was no going back? Today's guest shares how her reality opened up to spirit guides, other realms, and knowledge that felt remembered rather than learned. From encounters with non-human intelligences to navigating everyday life while perceiving far more than people realize. This conversation explores what it's like when the unseen becomes impossible to ignore. I'm Greg, and this is Rad Conversations.
Welcome to the Rad Conversations podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Rad Conversations. This week we have Jolene back with us again, and she's a psychic medium, a death doula, and Akashic Records reader who's helped countless people navigate the mysteries of the soul. And her website is soulexpansionguidance.com. And remember, if you're a fan of Rad Conversations, make sure you hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. All right, let's dive in. So Jolene, do you think the moon is a spacecraft?
I don't, but I know a lot of people who do. No, I don't believe it's a spacecraft. I believe the moon is the moon, but there's definitely a lot of interesting things within our planets that have lost something.
Earlier, you mentioned that you were more of aware of other planets out there. Like are you astral projecting? Is that what you're doing when you go to these other planets?
Sometimes, yes. Yes, I am. In meditation, yes.
Could you just do it naturally from when you're a young age? When did you first astral project?
It happened. So for me, I had like this awakening after I had all these experiences. My mother passed away. A year later, my husband passed away, and my niece passed away. And I would have their spirits coming to me in different ways. And it just kind of made me question things, question my faith. And I started meditating and once I started meditating, that's what opened up everything for me. And then I met a friend of mine. Go ahead.
What age was this?
I was like 40. So I was late.
Okay,
I was late, yeah. And so once I started meditating and I just kind of faced my fear on the unknown. That's when it's just like a flood came to me, where I was able, my first spirit guide. My mom took me to my first spirit guide, and she came to me as a rabbit because she knew I would know that was her, because she liked rabbits, and took me to a guide who was Pleiadian. So he would look like what people say the Nordics, right? And I learned a lot. And then, I would have these guides that would take me into the astrals, into these other planets. And I would ask, okay, I'd say, give me signs that this is real, because maybe I'm just making this up and it's a dream, And I remember when my guide gave me his name, and I wrote it down. And then later on, I was just scrolling on my phone, and I saw an asteroid that was supposed to hit Earth, that Japan gave that name, that same exact name, as my guide. And I said,
"Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Okay, so that's my...
You saw it that same day?
That same day, yeah. And
Wow.
I hadn't seen that.
And it was
yeah.
Can you say the name, or
it was like Raikou or something like that. Japanese.
Wow.
Named it. And
Wow.
it was an asteroid that was going to hit. It didn't. Yeah.
I talked to my higher self / guardian angel, and I named him. I just gave it him, and I gave him a common name, but an unusual common name, and I've never said the name before. And I'm just hoping somebody, That's my little thing. I mean, I believe in all this stuff, but I just want somebody to say that name because I've never even told my wife what the name is, but I just want somebody to go, hey, your guardian angel's name is blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for that. So did you get to pick where you went with these guides? Like, hey, I want to go to this planet, or they go, we need to take you to this planet.
I kind of went in with an open mind, like, hey, I'm here to learn and take me. And, with him, he was trying to help me remember certain things. And then at one point took me to another guide that I had that was a blue avian, a bird being, blue bird being. And he was more like a professor to me. And so he would give me these lectures of these
Oh, wow.
esoteric, lectures. And he would say, a lot of what you've learned is true. It's just that it came from a mind of a human that didn't understand. So he would talk to me about scripture and how, the crystals have consciousness and power. And, in scripture, it is kind of talked about, but we just didn't read it that way. And, he just point out all these things. Yeah, and I just kind of was learning in my meditation, remembering, I say.
So when you were learning,
Yeah.
would this go on for hours in your head, but then you were only really meditating for like 10 minutes? Or,
It was
or
for a long
was
time,
the,
yes, than when a reality of time was. However, I would probably be in for 45 minutes.
but it seemed like for hours.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Uh, is it hard? Is it hard for you to be down here when you could be up there?
There was a point
Learning
where,
all this amazing stuff and
yeah, because there was a point where you could just get so lost in that. And I had to consciously go, wait a second, I'm a mom. I'm a parent, I'm living here. I can't just live up in this realm here in these meditations. And it can get to the point of just almost addicting that you want to get more information. And so now I've learned to create a balance and ground and, tap in when I need to tap in. And of course, meditation is a part of my life, but I don't always go into that deep trance of meditation. Um, yeah.
so how do you meditate?
Well, you have to really just get calm, and really it just starts with your breath, right? So you just you start doing the breath work. You can do the box. You look up box breath work. In through the nose, out through the mouth, but slow inhaling and out, right? And it just calming your mind. You kind of are getting into that dream state while you're awake, and it's just letting go of everything around you. Um, and I think that's really helpful for just, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You can just do even that, and it helps you to become centered, to have peace, you know.
And now that you've been doing it for a while, can you slip right into it very quickly, or does it still take about the same amount of time to get there?
I do think I'm quicker in getting to certain things, like if I'm reading someone's energy or whatever. And also, like, I think when I'm around people that also are gifted like me, I think we magnify each other, and we kind of like I was talking to actually Trisha, who you know and you interviewed before. We were talking this morning, and we're activating each other, and we're getting all these downloads. I'm like, stop! I have to interview later. I can't be in. I need to ground. um, we really activate each other. We get a lot of downloads together. So yeah.
And could you give us an example of one of the downloads?
Okay. Well, today we were talking about Kundalini and Christos oil. I don't know if you're familiar with both of those terms.
Kundalini, but not the second one.
Okay, Christos oil is like um, an oil secretion from your pineal gland that kind of comes down, and it helps you open up your third eye. Um, and, Kundalini, obviously we know comes up, wakes us up also. And so I was saying, I feel that, Kundalini is feminine and the Christmas oil is masculine. It's like I was getting this download of it's like the sun and the moon, um, Jesus and Mary Magdalene. I was getting all these different concepts, and she was agreeing with that. And we've had other things too happen when we're together. I've had Native Americans come through and they have a message for us, whatever. So
I, when you have friendships, are you mostly going towards people that you gravitate towards, like Trisha, or are you just everyday people? Or is it hard to have a relationship with everyday people?
I mean, I still do both. I just like I was out with my best friend from since we were in the third grade yesterday. She knows what I do. I think she might think I'm a little kooky, and but she just accepts me for who I am and loves me, and we just accept each other and love each other. So I still have those certain relationships. There's a certain level I'm not going to talk to her about, and so yes, it's important to have that camaraderie with other spiritually like-minded people. But how are we going to? I know a lot of people say your friends are going to fall away, and it's true. Some of them will fall away, but how are we shining our light if we're completely cut off from the rest of the world?
Yeah. I mean, friends come and go. I mean, really. I mean, the good ones stay around, obviously, for the long haul. But, like, just I've had really good friends kind of come and go. And it's just, hey, different point in life, time to move forward.
People get married, and that could be a reason, There's so many different things. Yeah.
So you said you're single right now,
Yeah.
or you're not married.
Yeah.
When you're looking at a partner, does this partner need to be in tune like you, or what? Can you get a sense from somebody on a first date, like right away, like, hey, not good vibes, or
I can.
anything
I
like?
can get a sense of good vibes or not good vibes. I don't necessarily think they have to be exactly like me. Um, Definitely accepting of the things that I do. And I always am upfront with that at first. Hey, this is who I am. If that's going to be an issue, you know, let me know now because, I have had, there was one person I dated years ago. And when he was breaking up with me, he was saying that I think he was freaked out because I gave a prediction to him. And I'm listening to demons and I was just like, you knew what I was when we had our first date. You knew I was gonna, get information. But I had
Is it
predicted.
hard to lie to you? Is it hard for your kid to lie to you, or a partner
Yes,
to lie to you because you already know?
yes. And sometimes I just let it happen, and I'm like, yeah, you're so full of crap right now, but I will just listen, let you talk, and
Wow.
it's yeah.
Can your kid pick up when you're lying to him, like, oh, it's time for bed, it's late, or whatever lie, white lie you tell your kid? Can your kid pick up on that at
Not
all?
very much, no, no.
Have you gotten your kid into meditation yet?
Yeah, we do. We take breaths to calm down. He has meltdowns because he is on the spectrum and he has a hard time with big emotions. And yeah, so we do have our breathing. We do meditation to protect our bodies and our spirit and connect with Gaia, connect with Source. Put that unconditional love in here for the day. Create that as our energy. Yeah, we have those routines. Yeah.
Do you feel like everybody has the same abilities that you have, and we're just not as connected as you might be?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think I started talking about it prior, but we got, on a rabbit trail. Um, I did connect, and this was an interesting story. So when I was awakening, I started doing that meditation. Um, all of a sudden, I was with my son, and I was like, he was not going to bed, and I said, lay down and go to bed. But what the words that came, I understood what I was saying, but the sound coming out of my mouth was a different language, a language I've never heard
Wow.
of. And I said, what was that about? And I had previously watched, um, there's a tarot reader, Conscious Evolution, that I liked at that time. And she started talking about star seeds and are you a star seed? And she had this whole thing about are you a star seed? So that's when I started questioning, do I have these gifts? And so I just said, I have to meet other star seeds. And I start searching online on these groups. I'm trying to search star seeds. And I find this person who has a meetup group. And it said, when I put the search in Starseed, he came up. But his group wasn't necessarily about starseeds. It was about, kind of a podcast similar to yours, where it's just about the unknown and, whatever. And he had a meetup group, and it was that one particular one was about aliens. I said, I'm going to go to it. So I went to his meetup group. And at that point, I had already had my connection with the Pleiadian guide that I had. And I had a lot to say, but I was shy to talk. And they're all talking. And they're asking me, how did you come here? And I said, well, I typed up star seeds and your thing came up. And the leader of the group was like, star seeds? What? Where our group is not about star seeds. I'm like, I don't know, that I was searching for star seeds and this is where I ended up. And he was a star seed and he connected with my energy and he looks at me and I hadn't told him anything. And he goes, Pleiadian, huh? And I said, yeah. And I was a little freaked out at that point. But he was a coach and he was taught people how to come into their gifting and to come into he's like, we all have spiritual senses. We all have our sixth sense. We all have clairvoyance. We all have all these things. And so I just started, hanging out with him, doing more stuff with him and learning from him. And he had a group and that's how I met Trisha actually. And, we started practicing on each other and that's kind of how I grew into my gifting. So it was like I had little tidbits of the gifts before, but he kind of pushed that forward. And he'll say this, he would say, everyone can do it. Some people are more natural at it. So some people are Kobe Bryant and some people are the other players on the, on the team. But everyone can do it. So, yeah.
When you hear people talk about alien stuff, like in that group, and you hear something that you feel is wrong, let me rephrase. When you hear someone talking about in person with you and they're talking about aliens and you definitely have a point of view and all that,
yeah,
do you kind of set them straight like, no, that's not what I'm feeling at all? Or you just kind of let them talk and then move on to a different subject?
I sit with what they're saying because I don't want to say that I'm this expert and I know everything. But I very much feel the energy of what someone is saying. And so like, I think so there's some fear mongering going on with a lot of this reptilian stuff, which I do think is there, but I don't think we give it too much power. I'll say that. So like if it's something like that, I like encourage, if someone seems fearful and they're talking about that, I'll say, hey, why don't you sit with your body and see where that feels uncomfortable for you? And maybe that's something that needs to be healed because that's giving that thing power. Right. And I think
Yeah.
I'll say something like that. I won't say you're wrong. That's not true.
Yeah. And raising the vibration, have you heard like if 10% of the population raises their vibration, then the whole planet will go up in vibration and ascend to the fourth dimension?
I have heard that. I've also,
Are we close?
I also kind of
Yeah.
feel not everyone would.
Right.
I
Yeah.
almost like it would be like an embryo that's a twin and going, psh.
Okay, so and I've heard that too. Like some of us would stay here and some of us would go to the next dimension. Would we, the people that I would just say, the people that stayed here, would the other people be dead? I mean, as far as like
No,
physically that we're aware of, no, they
I
would
don't.
just disappear,
No,
or what? How? Where's the? Or would we be living together just on different realities?
different realities. That's how I see it.
Interesting.
As
Okay, in
they,
my head it was always like,
I still think that they can still reach it. I don't. I don't. I don't believe in the apocalyptic kind of thing. I think there's always a reset button, and there's always a, you know,
yeah,
it doesn't make
yeah, like
sense
you
to
said,
me
like
for someone not to do the work and to go, then they're going to not be, they're going to go, what's this? Freak out.
oh, I got you, I got you. So no tag-alongs. You got to do the work to get there, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's just kind of my feeling on it. But I mean, I never say anything I say is set in stone because I've learned over time. I think this way, and then later on, I change my mind. I see something different, So,
Yeah.
you know,
No, I mean, I've been to a lot of psychics, and I think a lot of them have been spot on with a lot of stuff, and then I think some were wrong, but I think some are wrong because my timeline shifted. Like I was on that path at that
yeah,
particular time, and then life happened. When I was in college, I went to a psychic. I mean, I've been going to psychics forever, but the psychic told me I would be married to a blonde haired, blue eyed girl and be in the restaurant business and have 4 kids. And fast forward 4 years later, I'm engaged to a lady that's 10 years older than me with 4 kids in the restaurant business. We ended up not getting married, but like that to me was spot on.
could have
I mean,
done
I
it.
was right in the.
Yeah, you could have made that choice, but something you had free will and you chose something different.
Have you come across some people that say they have the ability when you like you don't have the ability,
Yes,
and
I
you can kind of see that they're just kind of,
a
I don't
facade.
know if they're just trying to be a facade. Well, are they trying to hustle people, or are they just trying to be in a group, or are
I
they just
believe there are some people
what's
that are
that?
hustling. I believe there are some people that are hustling, but I also believe in frequency. So, like, there are some people. There was one lady I could not read her.
Jolene, but so your your grandmother wrote a book about being a psychic.
My grandmother on my father's side wrote a book on numerology. She had another metaphysical book as well, and she was a minister for a metaphysical church in Hollywood, or a lot of Hollywood people in the business came to um, her church. She held it in her house. Um, so yeah,
I mean, did that make you guys bond at an early age?
the weird thing is we didn't have as close of a relationship, and I kind of regret that I was so afraid because I was Christian that I thought these things that she was doing was demonic. And so, like, I could have learned a lot from her had I seen things from a different perspective. Yeah.
Thanks for watching the show today, folks. And if you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and share. And like always, stay rad.